with me today for our session here on transforming fulfillment operations and how 3D sorters maximize efficiency and productivity is Ray Kai, General Manager of Mushiny North America. And congrats to them for winning the vendor award last night. Welcome, Ray, to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming to see my presentation. And I want to give a big shout out to Deliver to organizing this great event. And we were honored to win the Game Changer Award last night. So today I will talk about how our 3D sorter can help everybody to improve their productivity and make their operation more efficient. So, I have read a lot of industry research report and have talked to a lot of customers. And surprisingly, you know, 80% of the warehouse here in the States are still heavily rely on manual operation. So raise your hand. So if you think you still have some reliance on the manual operation, you want to automate, how many of you want to actually make the change and make your process more efficient and reduce the inaccuracy and other things? Yeah. So basically, I think everybody wants to do that, but we haven't seen a huge wave of automation. I mean, we saw the video this morning with the Amazon, robotic fulfillment center. That's the state of art, right? But then for majority of customers, even for large customers here in the States, for their older warehouse, they're still doing a lot of manual operations. And as you can see here, many of them are still doing manual picking from the shelf. So somebody's is having a cart, have like 5, 10 totes on the cart. They're doing the order picking, and they have to walk within all the aisles in the building, walk miles every day, and they can only do like 30, 50 orders an hour, hopefully, and that's very inefficient way to do your picking and also the downstream order consolidation. So there are a few challenges that cause that the hesitancy to automate. First of all, I mean everybody wants to automate. They want to improve the efficiency, the accuracy, but a lot of especially small, medium-sized customers, they just don't know where should I start, right? So for the large, you know, um, customers, they have a team of engineers to analyze their operation. So they have integrators help them to decide which solution is good for them. But for a lot of small and medium-sized customers, they don't have the luxury to have a team to look into how they can automate their process, and they just don't know where they should start. I mean, their business is growing, and they just hire more people and try to do the day-to-day operation, right? And also, when they come to these trade shows, they see all these different technologies out there, different solutions, like from the ASRS goods to person solution. Just an example, you have the shelf to person, you have tote to person, you have high density storage, you have high throughput storage. So they don't know which solution is right for them, right? So which one suit my operation the best? How can I get the big bang of the buck? They don't know. And also, for many of the customers, they had to fulfill their customers' orders day to day, right? They don't have the luxury to shut down their operation and rip everything out and replace with automation, right? So that's another challenge for them. How do I automate my process while have minimal impact to my operation? So because of all of these key challenges, unfortunately, a lot of customers are still doing the manual operation. They just hire more people. But with COVID, everybody understand that it's harder and harder to hire people to work here for a long time. The attrition is high. The cost is going up. So at one point, they need to automate. And today, I'm bringing the solution from Mushiny, how we can help them to automate their process. So today, I'm introducing our 3D sorter, 3D sorter Max on the left-hand side and 3D sorter Mini on the right-hand side. So what is a 3D sorter? Okay, so think about your operation, right? So for your picking process, you can do order picking, which means you can have a cart with totes. Each tote is one order. An operator will take that cart, walk along all the aisles, and pick the items, put them into a specific tote because that item belongs to that order. So that's order picking, right? And that's very inefficient way to do that, right? So with the WMS, adding more functionalities, and people start to batch picking. So instead of picking one tote, it's just one order. So they can pick multiple SKUs and multiple items into the same tote because that they have a batch of, let's say, 50 to 100 orders, and they know they for this specific item they need, five, six, seven, eight, items, and then they pick them together as a batch, and then they send to the downstream to do order consolidation. They had to sort those items to order again, right? So historically, the solution is called the put to light or called put wall kind of solutions. So basically, with a full tote, the operator will scan the item, and the light on the shelf will turns on, and then put the item into that cube or into that tote, press the light, and then the WMS knows, oh, that item belongs to this order has been put into this cube. And later on, once the order is full, and then take everything in that cube or in that tote and send to the downstream packing process. So that's the typical order consolidation process. Or if you are a larger company, you have more automated warehouse, you have different kind of sorters, automatic sorters to do these kind of operations, typically like a loop sorter kind of system to do that if you have very high throughput requirement for your orders. So and in the recent years, there are companies out there trying to develop this more compact style put wall kind of solutions, automatic put walls to replace the manual put walls, but not get to the throughput of a big loop sorter. This is what we are looking at right now. So on the left-hand side, this 3D sorter Max is optimized for customers that had to sort thousands and thousands of orders per hour. All right, so they may process more than 10,000 orders per day, and they had to sort, a lot of items with a lot of destinations because they have the number of order goes up, your number of destination goes up. So our 3D sorter Max can actually sort theoretical maximum throughput of 14,400 packs per hour. That's basically, if you can imagine like the Amazon warehouse, that's the throughput they are running at, right? And because you have a very high throughput, typically you are doing a very large batch picking. So that means you have a lot of orders you have to fulfill. That's why for your put wall, you need a lot of destinations. So our 3D Sorter Max is designed for that kind of application. It can have very high throughput, much higher than any other automatic put wall solution on the market right now. And we can expand our sorter to have a lot of destinations. It's essentially, when I get into the technical details later on, it's a mini loop sorter within the walls. So ultimately, you can have unlimited amount of destination if you need. So that's the 3D Sorter Max we designed for these high throughput operations. And at the same time, we know a lot of small, medium-sized customers, they are not Amazons. They only sort like 1,000 orders a day, right? So they don't need that level of throughput and this very expensive equipment. So that's why we also have the 3D Sorter Mini, which is a standard, equipment. It's not that as customizable as the 3D Sorter Max, but it fulfill their requirements, right? So the 3D Sorter Mini can store about 1,500 items per hour. That's like operational rate, like how fast people can feed the sorter. And the maximum destination per single unit is about like 1,000 destinations. But you have the option to actually connect multiple 3D Sorter Mini to increase the number of destinations at a relatively lower throughput. So with these two different options, we actually can serve customer from very small customer with only had like a one warehouse running, a few hundred and 1,000 orders a day to very large customers that runs like, tens of thousands of orders per day. So this is a video of our 3D sorter Max. So basically, because Mushiny, we actually started from the goods to person kind of storage, solutions. Um, then through our, projects with customer, we realized that, you know, to improve the efficiency for picking, we really need good order consolidation, like a unit sort solution. That's why we developed the 3D sorter. So here you can see we can, the operator will induct the item at the induction table, and then the item will be transported to the crossbell carrier, and then it runs like a continuous loop within the walls. And then, those crossbell carriers are mounted on a servo actuator so they can go to different height. And then that's how we divert the item to different toes at different elevations. And with our pull wall design, you can actually roll the entire wall out and take them to the packout stations and put an empty one in. And we can also design different style of the ribbing wall or chutes depending on what kind of product we sort and the volume of those products. So we are the only company out there that can actually have a mixture of different size of containers on the same unit. So that's our flexibility of our design. And also to improve the throughput, you can actually have multiple inductions and it's modular to expand depending on how many destinations you need. So ultimately, the 3D Sorter Max is a very modular and flexible solution for customers. It can sort from efficiently 2-3,000 items per hour to like 10,000 items per hour. So this is what it looks like and all the subsystems of the 3D sorter. So you have the induction table. So if you know about the warehouse automation, it looks like a crossbell sorter style of induction table, semi-automatic induction. But we do also have the option to actually connect with upstream conveyors to singulated flow to all do automatic induction as well, or we can do robotic each picking to induct to the induction table. And then we have the rejet for no reads and recirculations. And we have the ribbing walls we can customize to our customers' requirement. And the HMI will help the maintenance team or operation team to understand the status, how many sorters we have sorted during the day. If we have any faults, it will show up on the HMI to help them run the equipment and improve the uptime. And of course, we have our access door, so maintenance team can get in to do repairs and maintenance. Here are a few key design features of our 3D sorter. The first one is the modular design. As you've seen in the previous video, it can actually expand just like a Lego block. So depending on the length and the number of destinations you need, we can just increase the size of the sorter to get more destinations. And also, we are very flexible on how many of these crossbell carrier we install on the equipment. Different from the conventional loop sorter. Like for conventional loop sorter, you have all these cards with carriers. It had to connect together to form a loop. That's how the conventional loop sorter works. But for our 3D sorter, we have the option to install the carriers on these cards selectively. As you can see here, we have option to put the crossbell carrier on each of the cards, and that's for the high throughput applications. We can also put half of the crossbell carrier on on these cards. So for a lower throughput application, that's reduced upfront cost. And when your business grow and you need to sort more items with this sorter, we just simply put more of these crossbell cards onto the machine, and then with very minimum downtime, probably like a few hours, you can actually get higher throughput with the existing machine. So that helps for the business if they grow and they expand. Our equipment is future proof that can help them meet their future requirements as well. And then another thing is that comparing to the existing automatic put wall solution on the market, those are linear sortation methods, right? So this is a loop sorter design. So we have a built-in recirculation. And that's very important because sometimes the operator does not, replace those full toads fast enough. So if the toad is full, and then that destination is unavailable to a new item, right? So then if the operator doesn't take away that full toads fast enough, you have a lot of rejects. So later on, you have to take those things from the reject bin and reinduct them again, right? With our loop sorter kind of style design, we have built-in recirculation. If you induct the item to the crossbar carrier and that destination is not available, it will just sit on that carrier and run around until that destination became available, and it will discharge the item to the destination automatically. So you don't have to worry about the people don't take away the photos fast enough, and you have a lot of rejects. So this is really efficient design compared to other solutions out there. And also another benefit of this loop sorter design is that we can actually have multiple virtual sorter or logical sorters in the same physical system. In this case, you can see we can actually put inductions on either side of the port wall. Basically, then you divide the port wall into two different, logic sorters. For example, you can do your store replenishment operation on one side. So when you induct on the bottom side of the sorter, all the items will be diverted to the chutes at the bottom of the sorter. And you can run your ecom order on the opposite side and have a different, size of the containers. Because for the store replenishment, typically you need big box and big totes. But for ecom order, it's 1Z, 2Z items. You can have like small totes on the other side of the sorter for your ecom orders. So this really helps like the omni-channel kind of customers to run different operations with the same unit. And it's also configurable. As you can see, we can design our reaping wall to maximize the capacity depending on the size of the item you have to sort and the volume you have to sort. And you can mix and match all these different chute design on the same sorter. So we have customer, like ecom customer, they have apparels, they have cosmetic, and at the same time they sell shoes, right? So we'll have different chutes designed, so they will actually have a dedicated reaping wall just for all the shoe boxes. So they can sort everything on the same sorter. And the rapid changeover. So this is mainly for like the parcel customers, because for parcel customer in the morning sort process, it's all the big bags from their air hubs, and they have to sort into bins for all their local deliveries, get onto the vans. And in the afternoon, they collect all the items from the local offices, and they have to sort into bags and send those back to their air hubs. So with our 3D sorter, you can actually use one set of reaping walls with totes in the morning. And then in the afternoon, you just change the configuration on our HMI and replace those walls with bags. And then with the same sorter, you can do your morning sort and evening sort with the same unit. So here's a video of our 3D sorter operate, in our demo room. So actually, we have our demo showroom in Atlanta. So we'll have an open house on October 23rd. So everybody's welcome to come to our showroom to see this equipment, working, in our showroom. So basically, you can see here, we sort different kind of items. We can even sort those irregular shape, we call it non-conveyable items, like shampoo bottles, lipsticks, and all these things. No matter what kind of product you have, you can actually send us some sample product. We can store with our equipment to show that if we can handle and how we can handle those products. So basically, at this induction table, you have a top scanner. You will scan the barcode. You will let the software know, okay, which item it is. The operator is inducting, and then it will match your batch order profile. And then those crossbar carriers will divert those items to a specific tote assigned to a specific order. And those crossbar carriers are mounted on a servo-driven actuator, so it can go to different elevation freely. So that's why we can design our reaping walls with different kind of containers and even mix different containers you know, in the same wall. None of our competitors can do that. So now you're seeing that we are sorting, items into orders. So each tote is just one order. And this is a shoe design. We sort shoe boxes. So you see the tote wall and the shoe wall physically on the same machine. And now the operator, can come once when order is full. We have the LED light at the top of the sorter to tell the operator which order is complete, and then operator will come scan the barcode of that tote and replenish that destination with an empty tote. So our system will be able to sort into that destination again. So this is one option that we have. And we also have automatic, tote exchange, options. So basically, we'll have like a ASRS shuttle count system. They can actually remove the totes, full totes from the wall and replace them with empty totes. And those full totes will be sent to a conveyor. And now what we will demonstrate here is this is a mobile ribbing walls. So once every single tote on this wall is closed, and then the operator will just take the entire wall away and replace with an empty wall. So this really helps the operation because if you are picking individual tote, that means your operator need to come, walk between the sorter and your pack out station more frequently. So if we do this mobile, ribbing wall options, once the full wall is ready, somebody just take that wall to the pack out station, and then the people there can just take those totes, and do the pack out operations. So that reduces the amount of walk distance or the number of operator to walk between the sorter and the pack out station. So that's our 3D sorter Max. And now I want to switch to our 3D sorter Mini. So this is a compact and cost-effective solution because in this case we have a single induction point, and then we have the vertical carriers to take the item to different elevation, and then the horizontal carrier will come to take the item and then divert them into the totes. And of course, we have the built-in barcode scanner at the workstation and the HMI to tell the operator what to do. So for our 3D sorter Mini, it's also very modular design. So we can have L or T configuration, which means like for a single induction point, do you have the ribbing wall on only one side, or you have ribbing wall on both sides? So that's that depends on the number of destination you need. And if you need more than 100 destination with this T configuration, we can actually connect multiple of these 3D sorters together. So basically, you have one induction point, and you will pass through this one if it belongs. The item needs to be diverted at the second, 3D sorter Mini. So it goes through the conveyor in between these 3D sorters. And it is also configurable. It's not as configurable as the 3D sorter Max because the number of the horizontal shuttle is fixed that decides how many levels we have for these ribbing walls. But definitely, based on the size of the product you have, we can design like 3 levels of ribbing wall, 4 levels of ribbing walls. It's configurable to a certain point. And it's very easy to use. The operator just grab the item, put it on the conveyor belt, and the machine will take it from there. Minimum training needed to operate a 3D sorter Mini. So here's a case study of our 3D sorter Mini in real world. So this is a e-com customer in China. So before they use our 3D sorter solution, it's 100% manual operation. So you can see all these shelves, right? So they were doing order picking. So they have all these cards with toes, and then they have a lot of people, dozens of people, to pick items to order. But with the 3D sorter, they change from order picking to batch picking upstream, and they do all the order consolidation here at the 3D Sorter Mini. And they have multiple 3D Sorter Mini used in this scenario. So basically, the operator will induct the item, and you can see here there's a button. The operator push the button, say, hey, this wall is full, and somebody will come and take the full wall of the totes to the pack out stations and replace it with empty one. And then here we have the printer there. We just print the order, the shipping slip, and put into the totes. That's a complete order. So this customer saw a great ROI of our 3D sorted mini solution. So they reduce about 65 of the labor they had before their the change of operation. It's a very quick win for them. So now, so I want to give you some real world case studies, like what's the feedback from our customer after they use our 3D sorters. So this is a sorter we just built for a very large e-com customer in Europe. They actually ordered 10 of this unit off the pilot side. So this sorter is very big. The throughput on this machine is more than 10,000 items per hour. We have 5 induction table on one side. We have another 5 induction table on the other side. And the sorter, the total length is about 60 meters or 200 feet. It's huge. And it has more than 500 destinations because for that throughput, your batch picking size is very big. So that's why we have a lot of destinations on that sorter, and it's huge. So, it's not just reducing the cost of the order consolidation. Actually, by using the 3D sorter and do a much bigger batch picking size, the customer have seen 50 to 60% of reduction on the robot they have for their picking operation. So here's how it works, right? So if you have an 100 order a batch, right? So in the picking world, we call it hit rate. So every time the robot bring a shelf or a tote to the operator, how many items can you pick from that single presentation? So if you have, let's say, do like a 50 to 100 order per batch, right? Maybe the operator can pick 2, 3 items off the shelf or in that tote. But if you increase your batch picking size to 200, 300, with that single presentation of shelf or totes, the operator may be able to pick 5, 6, 7, 8 items. The pick efficiency will be much higher if you have a large batch picking size because your hit rate increase. When the hit rate increase, you need less robot to present those totes or shelf to the operator. Therefore, it's more efficient how many robot you need. So we have done actually calculation for our customers with 100 of robots in their picking operation. With a 3D sorter and a larger batch picking size, they only need half of the robot to hit the same throughput at picking. That's millions of dollars of saving for them. So the 3D sorter is not just optimizing your order consolidation process. It also has a huge potential to optimize your picking process. And of course, for this cross-belt sorter style induction table, on average, one operator can induct 1,500 items per hour, comparing to the manual put to light kind of operation. Typically, on average, one operator can do like 500-ish items per hour. So basically, your efficiency for order consolidation will be 3x with the 3D sorter. You will see huge labor reduction for your order consolidation process. And for this customer, the throughput was a huge constraint for their business. With the 3D sorter, because they can run more efficiently, they can actually move people to do other things within the warehouse. They actually told us that based on their calculation, they can actually achieve 20% revenue growth within the same building because now they don't have the constraint on their throughput. They can ship more orders out of the same building to their customers. That's huge top line hit for them as well, in addition to the bottom line improvement. So this customer, even though this is a huge machine, is relatively more expensive. This customer have seen the ROI like within 18 months. And this is the case study for the video I just showed, right? So they changed from the order picking process to batch picking and do the 3D sorter to do the order consolidation. They saw 65% of the labor reduction for their operation. Um, they have like 5 units of these 3D sorter mini. And actually, these are very easy to install and implement because all these machines are pre-assembled in our factory. We test them before we ship to site. So when it gets to site, if the software API is already configured, you plug the power in and it sorts. It's like, you buy a refrigerator. It's like a plug and play kind of style of equipment. And for that 4 or 5 sorters, we have everything done within a month. Like they get the first up and running in like 2 weeks. And then they get the other up and running. The total project, the total installation and commissioning is less than a month. It's crazy fast for this kind of plug and play style of design. At the end of the day, that customer actually got their investment back less than a year, and that's in China for the labor rate over there. Think about it. So we do serve a lot of different customers in different vertical markets, ecom, retail, books, pharmaceuticals. Actually, is the one I need to add to this list. And our 3D sorter mix and match, we can handle different type of items, different irregular items. We can all handle those. So definitely, it's a very versatile and flexible solution for different kind of customers. And I've been talking about how wonderful our 3D sorter is for your order fulfillment operation. But I know sometimes for customers, the return operation is even a bigger headache for their order fulfillment. I have talked to a lot of customers that they had to throw away, millions or tens of millions of dollars worth of product every year because they do not have a cost-effective way to sort these return orders. Think about it. If you have, hundreds and thousands of return orders shipped to your warehouse, how do you sort them and put them away to your inventory so you can sell them again? This is very inefficient process in the industry right now. And then depending on their operation, customer will have a threshold say, hey, if the value of this item is less than like $10, it's not really worth it for me to sort it and put it away to sell it again because the time for my people to spend to sort the item is more than $10. When we talk about like, uh, you know, uh, human like reliability, like how we can save the planet, right? You throw all these things like good product to the landfill. It doesn't make any sense. It's directly hit for your bottom line if you can resell these items. So our 3D sorter is really good in handle return operation as well. So think about if you have a lot of returns and let's assume you have the manual shelves for your storage, right? How does it work? So you store everything with our 3D sorter Max or 3D sorter Mini, and then each of the tote is dedicated for one aisle or a few shelves. So you store everything to multiple totes, and the operator can just take that cart with these totes. Then they go to different floors, go to different aisles, and they know exactly all the items in this tote belong to the shelf in this aisle or in this section. That's a much more efficient way to process your return orders so you can actually put away these items to your inventory so you can resell it again. So with our 3D sorter, you can run in the daytime to fulfill your orders, and at nighttime, you can use that to process your return orders. So, you kill two birds with one stone. That will actually accelerate your return on even investment even faster with our 3D sorters. And of course, depending on the size of item you return, especially for e-com customers, they have different size of type of items. We can design our ribbing walls to have different size of the containers. So with the 3D sorter, you can save millions of dollars of your returns if you can process them and sell them again. So don't throw it away. Don't throw it into the landfill. So that's the end of my presentation. So, to summarize, the 3D sorter is a really good way to do unit sort, to do auto consolidation. Also, it's a great tool for your return operation. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining this presentation, and please feel free to ask any question if you have.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
A question on the sortation. Is it generally one SKU per tote? Or are you intelligently sorting multiple SKUs into a tote?
Yes, so that's based on the configuration of the software. So, for example, so if you do order fulfillment, order consolidation, you can sort different line item, different SKU per order into the same tote, right? And for the return operation, you can also sort different SKUs into the same tote because these SKUs will be put away to like the aisles or the shelf like side by side, right? So you can change your software configuration depending on what you need.
What do you think that sets Mushiny, the 3D sorter, apart from sort of the other solutions on the market?
Okay, so that's a great question. So a lot of people have tried to solve this problem over the years. I've been in the material handling industry, for 10+ years. You know, in the history of material handling, people use a big crossbelt sorter or tilt tray sorter to sort items. And then, we have the robotic solutions. They have these small bots sort items into totes. And, within the past few years, there are automatic pull wall count solutions on the market as well. So comparing to the robotic unit source solutions, the robot is flexible because at Mushiny we have all those AGVs for our goods to person operation as well. The downside of robotic solution is that once your throughput gets to a certain point, I would say 3, 4, 5,000 items per hour, the robot is not keeping up with the demand because you have a given footprint and then all these bots are running around. Just think about like a traffic hour. You have all these cars trying to go to the same place at the same time. It causes congestions, right? So for robotic solution, it's very flexible at a lower throughput. But once it gets to a certain point, the robot just can't keep up. So these conventional automated equipment are really good once you hit that throughput than the robotic ones. And by the way, the robotics ones are not cheap neither, right? So, and then comparing to other automatic put wall solutions on the market, as I mentioned before, those designs are very similar to our 3D sorter mini. It's like a line sortation kind of setup. They do not have the flexibility to do multiple inductions on the single put wall, and also that limits the throughput they can sort per machine, right? So if you have, let's say, 5,000 items per hour you need to sort, they need the multiple unit to get to that throughput. That means from the picking process, you actually had to pick all the orders for a specific wall, with the same workstation. That actually limit the batch picking efficiency from your upstream picking process. And you need more conveyors to route these totes to different put walls. For our 3D sorter, you can induct on either side of the sorter because it's a loop design. So it's way more efficient to have one single, 3D sorter to hit all the throughput you need, have all the destination you need, without having multiple different put walls in your operation. So I would say that's the main difference between our solution versus all available solution on the market. And by the way, our 3D sorter is very cost effective than other similar put wall product on the market, a friction of their cost. And it's very easy to install. It's a plug and play design.